Hey everybody, welcome back to Stratego Freaks for another exciting video. Today's game we're going to review between Nemesis and Sohal, a real strong player, hovers around 600 plus ELO most of the time. A tough guy to beat. This game is a grind. Let's look down at the move count. It's over 1,000 moves, and during the course of this 1,000 plus move game, there's some instructional moments. Is that even a word, instructional? Bottom line is we're just going to go through this game and talk about some of the things that take place that make it kind of cool. And hopefully you can use some of the techniques and strategies in this game to your advantage next time you play a long game. Let's get into it and just start it up and see what takes place. All right. Now, Nemesis is coming down with this captain pretty aggressively, gets the scout, and we discover a colonel pretty early. We're down the piece, but we've got the info. So, all right. More exchanging. All right. Now we're down a 6 and still down the captain. And we're just going to keep on going. You'll notice this is a real patient game, and styles, make games. It makes for interesting games. I haven't played Sohal. I don't think so anyway, so I don't have a whole lot of information on his normal style, but this was a kind of a slow-paced grind where information played pretty much a key role. All right, let's keep going. Nothing too crazy happening here, and we're just going to keep moving. I'll be stopping this game. It's throughout it to kind of highlight what's taking place. All right, let me stop for a second. Where are we? We're at 115 moves. Okay, let's keep going. Yeah, so we're just going to shuffle around a little bit. No one's really committing to too much. And, depending on who you play, you might get this. I try to vary my aggressiveness and my... Let me stop again. All right, we're at 145. Okay, I believe at 199 is the first kind of instructional piece of the game. So we're at 160 here. And once again, nobody's really doing anything except for that. Now we're down another piece there. Now, let me stop it. Nemesis could have taken with the major here, but decides not to. Just isn't worth it, I guess, at this point. I might have been tempted just to get that back, but I believe Nemesis's mindset is to conceal this major, so hopefully it could pick up maybe a captain or better. So he's going to be patient with that and not give away any information. Let's keep going. All right, we're up on 190. Another exchange. All right, so we're going to stop right here, and I'm just going to move forward a little bit. Okay, now this 6 being moved up here, for one, was to scout this piece and to actually, and this is what's kind of cool when we break these games down. The mindset is to actually make this appear like you're not trying to conceal it. Like, go ahead. I'm going to open this up a little bit to kind of give the illusion that you don't care about this side. And that, that was what was going on in Nemesis's head. Let's keep going. Okay, so let's look at the graveyard here. So we're down the big piece, the captain. We're up here in the 6, but we do have a minor, which is cool. Nemesis does like to play with minors. He likes to get up in those minors, and he's real good at the endgame being up those minors. That's something he tries to do. Let's keep going. All right. And all right, so we get another minor. And we're going to push this up. So let's stop once again. So here's what's known. The general's known. The colonel's known. The major's known. That's a lot of info. And frankly, we don't have any real information on Sohal. This major is there, but other than that, it's kind of a barren wasteland of information. So that sucks. Let's keep going. All right. Okay, so we discover that doesn't exchange. Trying to keep things okay. Now we'll stop again. So we're still down here. We did manage to pick up the minor, but we evened out here on the sixes. All right, he's trying to push him up. Okay, now this blows. So here's the known information. The general, the marshal, the major, and the colonel. So he knows all this stuff, and it's down to captain. So he's down information and material. Not very good at this point in the game. Let's keep going. You know, if you're a beginner, sometimes you don't really realize how important information is, and knowing where your pieces are and keeping, remembering that information. A lot of times when you have knowledge of a lot of pieces, when things get shuffled around, you forget about it, where they are, and so on and so forth. So the information that you do attain, you need to capitalize on it. And when you are down information, you've got to figure out a way to equalize. And we're about to see that take place right now. Let's go. All right. We don't know what these are. These have moved, and we do have a little bit of minor piece information, but nothing big. We're kind of confused here. Let's keep going. Okay. I'm just going to push forward here manually. Okay, exchange. Bring the colonel back. And let's see what happens. So here's our scout. We're trying to get information together. The marshal is pushed up because it's known. The colonel's pushed up here. It's known. Let's keep going. All right, so now the scout comes over because we want to see what this is. The next move is here. Now, Sohal makes a mistake, and bottom line is Nemesis makes a great call here. He takes, and it was the spy. That's fantastic news. Now, if this is the marsh, he's kind of forced to take, because if not, these movable pieces here are going to be at risk. You have the spy, so he's either forced to trade marshals, or Nemesis is going to get material back. Either way, he doesn't have to worry about the spy. And he's getting back into this game being up the minor and the scout. If you don't quite understand what that means in the end game, you will when this game ends, because we're going to explain what that's all about. He's still not winning if he exchanges, but let's go. So the exchange does happen. And go. All right. So now, once we didn't know where the spy was, got that taken care of. We didn't know where the marshal was, got that taken care of. And now we know where the gen is. So even though we're down the big piece, we have the information that we needed to really to get back into this. So what was once kind of a sorry situation is kind of evening out. And, if we look closer, Sohal's down another minor here. Let's keep going. All right. So here comes the gen, and the colonel's coming across the board. And look. All right, so here we are, and we have to kind of figure out what's going on here. Now, here's the colonel, and we know this is a known captain. And I believe Nemesis has wanted to get in here, but of course the general is blocking it. This piece moved up, and Nemesis makes the assumption that this is the colonel because he was letting it get past, and that was correct, I believe. So he gets pushed over there. Now here comes the gen, but he's not going to go up there because he can't really get it. Now we believe that this is the colonel coming down. Now remember, this could have taken earlier, but we didn't move it, so it's still concealed. All right, now we're just kind of going back and forth. Now we know not major. Okay, scouting piece coming down and discovers the bomb. Not exchanging, just applying pressure. Now that sergeant hasn't moved, this one here, which has the appearance of a bomb, but the one under it clearly is a bomb, which means he might lotto into that later, thinking that it's the sergeant and not the bomb. And that was the mindset there. Let's keep going. We were hoping for a hit there. It didn't happen. So we're just going to chase around and make things, a grind. We're not even halfway done with this game yet, and we're at 386. It's a long game. So he's not exchanging, making things very kind of drawn out here. And here comes the captain. No real progress. We'll just kind of zip up here, and we're just still exchanging. Sometimes these games can just, the longer they are for me, the more opportunity for me to lose focus. So I try to be aggressive and get in there as soon as possible. But these two players aren't seeing it that way. All right, we're going to just keep on going until things get meaty. Now you can just see the general pestering pieces around the board. And here goes that exchange to progress the game. All right. So not much has changed. We're about halfway done now. Being down that captain is definitely troublesome. All right, now picking up that piece felt pretty good. Now we're trying to get material at this stage. We know where the gen is, and these majors can't be got unless a total mistake. But as it stands right now, that was a good pickup. All right, let's keep going. Just a lot of moving around the board since we are down the big piece. Nemesis is trying to make things very difficult and challenging, forcing Sohal to do something. All right, we're just continuing to go. No real action. And you can see our opponent just kind of shuffling around himself. And it looks like another exchange coming up here. Well, we'll see. All right, it looks like Nemesis is trying to scoop up this captain, but I believe our opponent figures out a way to save it. All right, let's see what happens here. Okay, that's another big move. Now, we were tied in that with the sixes. Now we're up that piece. He went for it to discover what it is. So that definitely worked out in our favor because, once again, we're trying to grind back into this game. Even though we're down the big piece, we've got a couple minor ones to kind of compensate. Let's keep going. So the captain cannot be caught. And this goes on for a minute. Hopefully, sometimes you move, you repeat positions, hoping that your opponent makes a misclick or an error or whatever, it doesn't take place. So we're just going to have to let this one go. But the good news is we know where that captain is. And that kind of equalizes things a little bit. Now another exchange. The captain, we have information here. Let's keep going. Another exchange. And now we've got a free captain over here. Let's keep going. All right, so we just kind of hover over here, and another exchange. Let's keep going. Now what's coming down here? Okay, discovered piece. Now the flag is, if we look at it, is exposed in the sense that if a miner was on this side of the board, they kind of have a free shot down. And it is precarious, and it is something to consider. And he knows this bomb and this bomb. So this does kind of look like a tripod. That is definitely a hittable area there. Let's keep going. Okay, so that's moving up. The captain takes that. And he does not want to let that captain escape. So let's see what goes down here. All right. Let's keep going. All right, what's coming down here? All right, that's big. Getting rid of that piece is borderline huge, because now we know that the only pieces left on the board for our opponent here, movable pieces, other than the general and the captain, are minors. So we know that any piece that moves coming down is a minor. And that kind of information is huge. Try to, if you're a beginner player, remember that. If that makes it very easy to know when to pull the trigger on those pieces to hit them when they're coming down to make an attack. Let's go. So what's coming down? Here it comes. Boom, it's gone. Willing to give up the 7, because now he's down to 2 miners that still have yet to move. So we're going to know immediately where those miners are when they do move. And there's another one coming down. And it's trying to get in there. I'm surprised it didn't take there, but that's fine. A little shuffle game here. Now another, giving it up to get rid of it, because that leaves 1 miner to get through this defense. Let's keep going. All right, here comes the final miner. And he's coming in. He's forcing it. And boom! So now the best I think Sohal could do would be to attain a draw, but I don't think it's... Well, let's see what happens first. He probably could run around the lakes and make this very challenging, but I believe he makes a mistake up here. So he's pursuing. Nemesis is pursuing. And that's the mistake right there, because this effectively bottles up the 2, and it's going to be impossible for our opponent to stop the 2 remaining miners. Let's see what happens. So here comes 1 miner, and he wants it, but now he's blocked off. Okay, let's keep going. So he's on that, and he's going to let him take it. Now, if we look, there's still a miner here. He's not going to be able to stop them both. And he gets in. He's just going to come down and try to go for something. And then on the next move, we get the flag. So 1,005 moves, a flag victory is confirmed. Now, once again, this game wasn't, I think there were a lot of things that took place, but most importantly was how to handle information or lack thereof, and how to even up a game when you are down important information. And I think Nemesis, that sequence where he got the spy, the marshal, and then the general right after that, pretty much evened everything out and actually gave Nemesis the advantage, which he maintained throughout the rest of that. Clearly, the material knowledge was huge, and having knowledge of any moving piece was a minor coming down. Pretty much sealed it. That this took a lot of patience and knowledge of endgame scenarios to get a victory like this. So put that in your back pocket and think about it next time you're in a long grind. Get that information, use it to your advantage, and get the W, right? Anyways, guys, thanks for tuning in. Like and subscribe. We'll see you guys on Strategas or the new site. By the way, I just attained a platinum ranking on the Stratego site, so that's cool. Anyways, have a great weekend. We'll talk to you guys soon, and you take care. Bye now.